So I don't hear any funky ringtones or anything while everybody's talking, sort of courtesy of them.
Me?
Get yours, Commissioner McDaniel, shut off.
Yeah, it was, sir. I sneezed. Forgive me.
I thought that was your ringtone. All right.
Your mom called you just
County Manager.
She's texting right now.
Yes, sir. We're going to get started with our invocation by Pastor Jesse Barrett from New Hope Ministries, Naples, followed by the pledge by Larry Rice, Vice Commander, VFW Post 7721. He's an Army veteran and Governor Bush's Points of Light recipient for Hurricane Wilma disaster relief effort.
Good morning. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you so much for this day. I thank you that we live in the most beautiful city on earth, and I thank you for our county commissioners. I pray that today, throughout this meeting, they will be led by wisdom. They will not try to lean on their own understanding, but lean on your understanding, Lord. I pray that the meeting will go smoothly, swiftly, and peacefully today. We love you, we honor you, and praise you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Arms.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Do you want to say anything?
Real quick, so VFW Post 7721, I'm the junior vice commander, for correction, not vice commander. We have a commander, senior, junior vice, quartermaster, those are the elected officers. So sorry about that. So the VFW is Veterans of Foreign Wars. It's a fraternal organization. Basically, if you were a veteran of a foreign war, it means you were deployed where you could shot or be shot at. That's a differentiation between the VFW and other organizations. We have our previous post commander out here, JB Holmes, too, also present. We have events, and we do more for veterans than anybody else. That's our motto. Our other slogan is, we still keep serving no matter what. Once you're done with your active duty, you continue to serve, and you continue to serve your community. You're more than welcome to come out on Friday nights. We have dinners and learn about the VFW. There's other events. But if you ever see an old timer with a hat on, you can make their day by going up and say thank you for their service. A lot of them, especially Vietnam era, did not have that when they came home. They were spit at, they were called baby killers, totally disrespected. And a lot of those old timers, if you tell them that, thank you for your service, and shake their hand, that means the world to them, whether or not you think it does or not. So we are, that young man right there, he's got his ID. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Most importantly, always remember, the land of the free is because of the home of the brave and the people who sacrificed their lives. Have a great day.
We're not all old timers, VFW members. We're not all old timers. Can we
So don't-
retract that
so
from the record?
Don't let Rick. Remember, Rick is Air Force, so he's sensitive when it comes to certain
He
things.
looks
Just
like
like
a young man back there.
just like most Air Force. But no, Rick is a great service member too. He's also a post member. But again, thank you for having us, and come on out to the VFW. Come enjoy a good meal, and remember, you see a veteran, tell them thank you for their service. Have a great day.
Thank you. Right.
Commissioners' agenda notes for February 24th, 2026. First, item 10A, to rename the county's Ann Oleski Park in Immokalee to the Ann and Ski Oleski Park, was added after the agenda was initially published and has been noted as an add-on item. This is coming onto the agenda at Commissioner McDaniel's request. Second, North Collier Fire District requested the following note for item 16A8, the interlocal agreement for lifeguard management program with North Collier Fire Control and Rescue District. The North Collier Fire Control and Rescue District is scheduled to consider and take formal action on the lifeguard management program agreement at its regular meeting on February 26, 2026. If approved, the district will execute the agreement at that time, and the signature page will be updated and included in the final fully executed document. With that, we have court reporter breaks set for 10:30 and 2:50 if needed. And with that, County Attorney. Commissioners.
Commissioner Saunders, do you have any ex parte?
No, sir, I don't have anything to add. No ex parte.
Commissioner Hall.
No changes, no ex parte.
Mr. LaCastle,
No changes, no ex parte.
Mr. McDaniel,
Same.
and myself. No changes, no ex parte. But before I ask for a motion, I believe we may have public comment on one consent and two of the summary agenda items. Is that
Yes,
correct?
sir. Yes, Mr. Chair. We have two registered speakers, Cody Davis and Michael Bryan. Michael Bryan is ceding his time to Mr. Davis. So, Cody Davis, you have 6 minutes, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Cody Davis, 15126 Palmer Lake Circle. My comments today focus on the Immokalee sand mine expansion and on the legal standards governing the proposed variance and the long-term integrity of the county's land use framework. First, the Land Development Code states that a variance requires that hardship not be self-created and must arise from special conditions of the land. The staff report explicitly states that, quote, there are no special conditions or circumstances that do not result from the action of the applicant. This is a direct acknowledgement that the required hardship criterion is not met. If that finding stands, approval would not be based on the variance standards as written. Second, the requested relief is not minor dimensional flexibility. It eliminates required buffers adjacent to agricultural lands and rights of way and removes over 2,000 feet of required screening, berm, and fencing. The code requires that a variance be the minimum necessary to allow reasonable use. Complete elimination of perimeter requirements is difficult to reconcile with the concept of minimum. Third, the justification offered is based on operational convenience, that screening would interfere with day-to-day activities and that the processing area is set far back from the road. Operational efficiency, cost, and inconvenience are not traditionally recognized hardship bases in variance law. This raises concern that the request represents a discretionary policy accommodation rather than a variance grounded in legislative criteria. Fourth, the expansion moves excavation into areas previously approved as preserved land and wildlife corridor. Land use processes are in place to allow flexibility for property owners, but the primary purpose of designating preserved land is permanence, so that the land can be enjoyed by future generations. And this designation was originally agreed to by both the applicant and the county. Reopening preserve acreage approved in a prior agreement sends a message that the county's long-term commitments are negotiable. This precedent has implications well beyond just this site. Fifth, the applicant's own justification states they've been unable to identify other mining projects where these screening requirements were applied. If this provision has not historically been enforced for similarly situated operators, then the issue before the board may not be exceptional hardship, but inconsistency between the code as written and the code as administered. Variances are not intended to reconcile long-standing administrative drift or non-enforcement. I'm not arguing that mining is inappropriate here. Earth mining is listed. It is a listed conditional use in this district, but variance standards exist to protect the integrity of the Land Development Code and to ensure consistent, fair application. If the board believes buffer standards should be different for large rural mining operations, or that the written standard no longer reflects county policy and practice, these are legislative questions, not variance questions. Approval where exceptional hardship is not demonstrated is an improper use of the instrument. I respectfully ask the board to ensure that each variance criterion is satisfied based on competent, substantial evidence, particularly the non-self-created hardship and minimum necessary standards. And I especially urge the board to pull these three items, 16A1, 17A, and 17B, from the summary and consent agendas and place them on the regular agenda where they can be given full scrutiny. Thank you.
Thank you. Was that the only speakers for the particular items?
That was all for speakers, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right, we have a motion to,
Move to approve.
have a second?
Approve the agenda?
Yes.
Yes. Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as it is. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, same sign. It passes now.
Commissioners, item 2A is approval of the January 27th, 2026 BCC minutes.
Move for approval.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign, same sign. Passes unanimously.
Commissioners, that moves us to item 3, awards and recognitions. We have 3 20-year attendees with us today. First up, we have Jerry Edward Shukes, Facilities Management. Congratulations.
Congratulations. That takes the hardware, man.
Commissioners, it looks like we have a big facilities crowd in the back. If you guys want to come up and get a photo, that's good. Come on up.
Yeah.
Gotta start doing stuff. Mine's next month. I'm 60.
Holy cats, who's fixing our stuff?
Hey, while you're out here, there's a toilet. No, I'm just kidding. I know you guys do way more than that. I like those jackets, flashy jackets, man.
Perfect.
Next up, we have Juanita Perez, Parks and Recreation, 20 years. Congratulations.
Job.
Finally, we have Michael Waite, Utilities Finance Operations. Congratulations.
Coming up here after that.
Thank you.
Commissioners, that moves us along to item 4A. These are our proclamations. Proclamation designating March 8th, 2026 as Well-Fit Girls Day in Collier County to be accepted by Joe Charles, Board Chair. Congratulations.
We understand.
We figured
I
it.
figured you're not that well-fit girl.
Say a few words. You're more than welcome. Okay.
Item 4B is a proclamation designating March 19th through 29th at 2026 as the 50th anniversary of the Collier County Fair, to be accepted by Don Jolly, Collier County Fair Board President. Congratulations.
Long time. Congratulations. Thank you, sir.
Did you said that to me?
Right center. You got it. Perfect. Thank you. All right. On 3. 1, 2, 3. And one more. 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Thank you. Mrs. Collier, if you want to say any words, you're more than welcome.
Don.
Don,
Hey, Don.
you want to say anything, about the fair or anything?
Ribbon cutting, when we're doing it, all that good stuff.
Yeah, take
Oh,
podium.
you want to talk about that?
Yeah. Well,
Talk about whatever you want.
yeah.
Thank you, folks. Is this working good?
Yes, sir.
All right, good. And by the way, folks, we're just about to get a piece of land, our own. We're going to move from the county land, and the county is graciously selling us a piece of land. And it's going to be on Camp Key, or near Camp Key and Oil Well, and we do thank you for that.
That deal's not done yet, so don't get too far ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. It's been 50 years, and I've been on the board for 34 years, so it's going to be a good fair. We hope everybody comes out.
When is the fair?
March the 19th to the 29th,
And when is the ribbon cutting?
the 20th.
On the 20th, okay.
Anybody would like to come out, it's going to, this 50 years is a long time for something like that, and it's, we appreciate if you would come out. Everybody is welcome.
That's a Friday
Everybody,
night.
but-
The 20th is a Friday night.
Friday night, yes, sir. We're going to open on Thursday night,
Right.
soft opening,
Soft.
basically, but Friday night.
And it's a nice event. If you haven't ever been before, it's a nice event. Then you
Yeah,
can go
we can-
wander around the fair, see the critters, do the thing. It's a lot of fun.
We can take you around and show you everything that we're doing. We've got a lot of entertainment this year, very, very good. We would appreciate it if you came out. Thank you.
I'll be there.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you, Don. Next proclamation.
Yes, sir. The next proclamation is item 4C. It's a proclamation designating March 8th, 2026 as International Women's Day in Collier County, to be accepted by Althea Irving, Chair, Women's Foundation of Collier County, and the awardee has asked that we read this proclamation. So let me read it really quickly here. Whereas International Women's Day has been observed since 1911 as a day to celebrate the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women, and whereas the Women's Foundation of Collier County serves as a catalyst for change in the lives of women and girls in Collier County, and whereas young women and girls are empowered to meet their full potential through scholarships, mentorships, and career development, and whereas the current needs of homeless senior women and their isolation concerns are being met, and whereas the important role women play in Collier County are being recognized through its Women of Initiative Awards, which honor local women leaders who are an inspiration to women and girls of all backgrounds seeking to make a difference through philanthropy and civic engagement, and whereas women account for more than half of Collier County's population, and whereas women are serving locally in our workforce and leadership positions, contributing significantly to the local economy, serving as a critical element to the health, welfare, and education of our community. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Collier County, Florida, that March 8th, 2026 will be designated as International Women's Day in Collier County, done and ordered this 24th day of February 2026. Congratulations.
closer to me anyway.
Of course.
All right, 2 photos here. On 3. 1, 2, 3. And one more. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Thank you.
If you'd like to say a few words, you take one of the podiums.
Good morning, commissioners and fellow community members. Thank you for recognizing International Women's Day in Collier County once again. On behalf of the Women's Foundation of Collier County, I am honored to accept the 2026 International Women's Day Proclamation. This year marks our 30th anniversary, a milestone that reflects 3 decades of investing in women and girls through strategic grant-making, advocacy, and education. Today, our work continues to focus on supporting homeless senior women, mentoring and preparing young girls for career pathways, and helping women pursue higher education so they can achieve economic mobility. At our recent 30th anniversary Women's Foundation Luncheon, our community demonstrated its commitment by raising significant funds to advance this mission, proof that when we invest in women, our entire community benefits. As I serve in my final year as board chair, I am deeply grateful for your partnership and for a county that understands that empowering women strengthens us all. Thank you for this meaningful recognition.
Thank you.
Can I say something, Chair?
Yes, Commissioner O'Callaghan.
I just want to say something, and I know for sure I speak on behalf of all the commissioners here, but you know, when you think about International Women's Day, right here in Collier County on March 8th, we should definitely be thinking about locally. Well, we have the first woman county manager. Big deal, okay? And Amy's phenomenal, right? We have Jamie Cook, who I don't really know what her full job is, but any questions I have about anything, I call her because she knows everything about everything. And Trinity Scott, who's not here, is another one that we all rely on. I just sort of went down the line. All of our executive assistants are women, and not because they answer phones or get us. They're our chiefs of staff. They're handling big, major, heavy lifting projects. Terry Lewis here, who's so dedicated and who we sometimes beat up for 3 hours and we never take a break or what have you. Couldn't do this meeting, without her. Think about Eileen, who runs the Collier County Community Foundation. She's in charge of millions of dollars that help so many people. Youth Haven is run by a good friend of mine and somebody that we all know. NCH, Arthrex, the list goes on and on. So, I can just tell you, I'm proud to live in a community where we look at performance and not necessarily gender, but to see women step forward in huge roles and deliver well beyond expectations. I know we're all proud of how we represent the county with a lot of the heavy lifting done by women, and this is our day to honor them. Now, you're not all going to get a dozen roses from each of us, okay? But it's the thanks from the heart, okay? Sometimes it's better than money, but I thought it was worth saying that because I've worked all over the country, all over the world. And a lot of times you don't see senior leadership positions by capable, overly qualified women taking an active role. And so we should all be really proud of our community, especially as this day approaches. So I thought that was worth saying. I'm not making a commercial. I'm not running for anything. But just wanted to say that because I'm proud to work with all of these professionals.
Well said. Well said.
All right, can I get a motion to approve the proclamation?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sound, same sign. The ayes have it. It's approved.
Commissioners, that brings us to item 7, public comments.
Mr. Chair, we have 3 registered speakers. Your first registered speaker is Dr. J.B. Holmes.
Morning, sir.
Good morning, Commissioners. Chairman Cowell, thank you for allowing me to speak today, and thank you for Chairman Cowell and Rick LaCastro for your service to our country. Today, I would like to speak to you on a matter of zoning variations, and I have already spoken with Commissioner Saunders on this matter, and he's already helping us. But in Golden Gate City, there is a home now that is a family care home It has 6 different families living in it. A typical 2,000 square foot Golden Gate community with home with 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. They're now proposing that home be upgraded to a care unit that will have 12 people living in it, a residential home that will have 12 people living in it. And they say they have 4 baths and 7 bedrooms. If they have 4 baths and 7 bedrooms, that home has been altered without a building permit. I've been in that home prior to their occupying it. So this is a residential neighborhood. It's a residential neighborhood, not a commercial neighborhood. A care unit like that, they're asking for a variation on the ordinance in relation to size of the lot, distance from the other homes, and of course the number of people living in that one residence. As again, I repeat, this is a residential neighborhood, not a commercial neighborhood, and they do not promise us who is going to be living in there, whether it's going to be elderly people or whether it's going to be drug addicts. We don't know who they're going to allow to live in there. I'm sure they're going to be on the government's dole, and there's some other issues that I'll speak to Bert Saunders, Commissioner Saunders, about privately. But I want you to take this under consideration. The residence is 1732 45th Terrace Southwest in Collier County. And the variances they're asking for, well, I have them. I'll supply you with that information other times. But I would like to stop this now. We do not enforce the codes now already. You can go around and see 6, 7, 8, 9 different residences,
Yes, sir.
cars. I'm going to suggest, and Commissioner Saunders, you're involved in this, I'm going to suggest you stop now, just simply because the variances haven't come before this board yet. That is the time for you to be making your comments with regard to that. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, this is subject matters not on today's agenda or on a future agenda.
That is correct.
And so my suggestion is you stop now. The other side's not here. You're certainly entitled to your opinions, but we're not supposed to be hearing these items during this time frame.
Chairman Cowell?
Yeah, I recommend that it be dealt in a different direction, because if it's something we have to vote on in the future, and it
Yeah.
doesn't give the opportunity to the other side to present their case, it does become a little of a slippery slope for us. And you can voice your opinion about it, you know, as your feelings of it at this time at the podium to us, but I wouldn't get in the weeds and really get into the subject matter itself. And that would be better behind closed doors with Commissioner Saunders, if that's all right, JB.
Yes, I accept that. I just wanted to make you aware of it. I'm more than happy to work with Commissioner Saunders on it. And I would just remind you, gentlemen, that everyone with a white beard, men with a white beard, are considered the most handsome and intelligent men
Thank you.
out there. So
Thank
I
you.
want to bring that
I
important
shave
matter up. Commissioner Hall?
Thanks, Doc.
Thank you, JB.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah. And JB, I was just going to reiterate the same thing. Just we'll keep working on this. And I agree with you that the white beard is an indication of a great deal of experience. I'm not sure intelligence necessarily, but in experience, we've been around a long time.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Saunders. I appreciate working with you. Gentlemen, thank you for...
Mr. Chair, your next registered speaker is Jackie Kay.
Morning.
Jackie, it's been quite a while since we've seen you here. It's good
I've
to see you
been
again.
Getting some quality time with myself. Every empire lasted roughly 250 years, then collapsed. America turns 250 years and is collapsing. Empires move through 7 stages in the same order. This pattern never fails. Number 1, the age of pioneers. 2, age of conquest. 3, age of commerce. 4, age of affluence. 5, the age of intellect. 4, age of decadence. And 7th and final stage is the age of decline and collapse, which America is currently in. So the processes are financial collapse. Faith in business as usual is lost. rapid debt growth, and currency decline. Commercial collapse. Faith that the market shall provide disappears. Political collapse. Faith in government breaks down, a sense that institution can no longer provide safety and stability. Social collapse. Loss of community cohesion and faith that your people will take care of you. Cultural collapse. A decline in moral, ethical, and intellectual standards, as well as a loss in faith in the goodness of humanity. Systemic crisis, a culmination of debt, societal stress, decreased productivity, and unpredictable events. A total collapse, final dissolution or radical fast-track reconstructing of the society, and Project 2025 is the proof of their process. Key characteristics to look out for: rapid debt growth, and that's a major driver with debt often exceeding GDP, gross domestic product. Geopolitical overreach, overextension of military power, and there's also a loss of civic pride and overall environmental degradation. Trump was the test, especially for people who call themselves Christians. He mirrored back their sins, hatred, racism, greed, predatory, lustful proclivities. He was not sent to save America, but is instead on a mission to destroy it, as America is no longer a nation under God. As a working class person, I see that we are working hard, paying taxes, but ultimately we're paying for the lifestyle of the rich and famous for those who are running our country. So thank you all very much, and there is hope because God is in control. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack.
Our final registered speaker is Daniel Zagaric.
Morning.
Good morning. My name's Daniel Zagaric. I'm a resident of Collier County. You guys know I've been to a lot of meetings over the years. I have a little bit of a concern about 11A, and the concern is preparation. We're not real good, or we haven't been real good with preparation when it comes to large projects. We're still dealing with the Paradise Coast issues. We had 6 amendments with the original contract. When you have 6 amendments with an original
Stop his time
contract.
for a
Hang on a
moment.
second.
Stop his time.
Dan, stop him, please.
Hold on one second.
Again,
Stop
this-
his
I'm
time.
talking about 11A. Am I not allowed?
We are aware of
haven't
what
gotten
you're
there yet,
talking
Dan,
about.
this is the problem. This is public comment only. You have to sign up for 11A if you want to make a comment about that. This is public comment.
So you
only.
guys, come
No,
on.
it's the rules, Dan. We have to follow, everybody in life has to follow the rules.
Same as
okay?
what-
And
You'll be able to
that's
speak.
the rules. If you want to speak about 11A, you sign up for 11A and we let you speak then. If you
Okay,
if
well,
you
let me
reference-
just
If
speak-
you reference a specific item
I'm
in
just
the agenda-
speaking generally
No,
then.
you
You're going to
you
shut me
referenced
off.
11A directly. You want to play it back, court reporter? Did he not reference 11A directly? Yes. At that point, now you must
Sign up
speak
for it.
while we do 11A. You have a right to speak, but at the right
Well,
time.
let's go away from 11A.
Okay,
I
well,
don't
you
like
have to sign
that
up
you
again
guys
for another
don't have
3
any
minutes.
preparation, okay?
Listen.
Because a lack of
You want to talk
preparation.
about a project and preparation, that's fine. And for the remainder of time you have now, but if you want to talk about 11A, you have to
You're
sign
kidding
up
me,
again
right?
3 more minutes.
No, that's the process. You wait
That
for
is the
11.
process. We have to follow the
Rick, are
process.
you talking or is he talking?
Okay, I'm talking. We have to follow a process, sir. We all do.
Yeah.
I have an agenda to follow. And it says right at the beginning in the paragraph, if it's something
And
that's
you-
on the agenda, you must sign up for that.
And you had the one on the end talking while you were talking
Okay,
too.
once again, sir, I'm going to let you continue with your time. Do you understand? But don't address anything that's on the agenda that you can talk to later. That's simple.
Because
It's a very
that's
simple
never
thing.
happened here.
That's always happened.
always
That's
happened.
that's the procedure, sir. Yes, we almost
You
follow
can be
procedure.
respectful or you can sit down, is what I look at it. You can either be respectful to us or you can go sit down.
No, we got issues of respect.
All right, sir, once again.
You're kidding me, right?
No, I'm
All right,
dead serious
listen,
looking you right in the eye.
Sir, don't make a scene, all right?
I'm
Just
not
stop.
making a
Yeah,
scene.
because now you're addressing each commissioner up here individually.
You're
Stop.
just typically not wanting to answer
I know why
questions.
you're doing this, sir, so just please stop.
No,
Follow
you
the
don't
rules
know
and-
how I'm doing anything.
Follow the rules or you can step down, one or the other. Follow the rules or you can step down, one or the other. What are you gonna do?
What format would you like
I
me to
just
use
told you.
today?
I just told you, you can make public comment on anything that's not on the agenda in this 3 minutes. If you want to talk about 11A specifically, you sign another sheet, you come back up when we pull that item. That's all. That's your right. But we're going to follow the rules. We are a land of rules, and that's what makes
Can
this
I
country
generally make a couple of
great. I
statements?
said you have the remainder of your 3 minutes, but don't talk about anything on the agenda. That's all. That's how it works. Then if you want to talk about something on the agenda, you sign up again. That's all. It's a very simple rule, sir. We all have to follow them in life.
Depending on who's at the
No, that's pretty much
who's
it.
at the podium,
No,
right?
sir. No, sir.
Very simple.
Did you sir always stop JB and his what he was saying at the podium? Because he was getting into the weeds where it might be something on the agenda.
You guys are tough guys. I mean,
Well, I'm
come
just
on.
saying, we follow the rules, sir. That's all.
Do you?
Yes, sir. My whole life, baby.
Okay. I guess I'll tell you what I was going to close with. I was going to tell you to be careful not to make too many gestures of loyalty at Collier County residents' expense. All
Was
right?
that the last of this 3 minutes? Was
Pardon
that
me?
the last comment in this 3 minutes? Okay, then sign up again for 11A if you want to speak on it. That's your constitutional right, sir. Those are the rules.
I mean,
You're
you
more
go
than welcome to sign
you
up.
go from saying what's right to, going into different topics and
I'm gonna keep moving. Do we have
Right.
another speaker for,
Yes, sir. If you allow, Mr. Chair, Cody Davis.
okay, sir. Thank you.
Good morning again. I just wanted to add that you guys are talking about following process and following the rules, but you only applied the rules to the speakers. You guys didn't follow the rules this morning. You didn't pull the item from summary. You knew it was a controversial item, and you still kept it on the agenda and you passed it silently, unanimously. So it's not right if you guys are going to apply the rules to everybody else, but not to yourselves.
Mr. Cody? No, I just want to say, these items that get on the consent, we've had this conversation before in the summary. These are items that were not contested. By you coming up and making a public comment is not really contesting it prior to us looking at it to go on the consent or the summary. And it's just like our ex partes. We have zero, that we claim anything zero, any contact from the public or even the vendor at any time that had anything to do with that. So that's why it makes it on there. There's zero contestants. So that's kind of why we do it that way. But that's just kind of like a running way we do things that go on the consent in the summary agenda, because they are not contested as they're leading up to the day we publish the agenda.
Well,
sir.
two
But
things.
I just figured it's kind of like give you some enlightenment, because a lot of times people can come up and say certain things, but that doesn't change that there hasn't been really contestants to it. Because if you don't have any real bearing in it, or any whatever, if it doesn't affect you directly, and you just want to make a blanket comment about it, that's fine. We listen to that.
Going back to December, the West Mercado item, my neighbor, Sean Galloway, he lives in Naples Park. He lives adjacent to the rezone of that item. I spoke on his behalf. You guys knew that that was a controversial item. You continued the meeting from the last hearing. You knew it was controversial. There were multiple people that were in opposition to it. My neighbor is adjacent to the rezone. And you've done this repeatedly at this point. Mrs. Patterson, she's made it clear that these are the rules of the county. If there's a controversial item, it has to be pulled. And you guys have done this for other items. When you have an item and you learn of controversy, even if it's that morning, you pull it from the agenda. But you haven't done that for these summary items. You haven't done that for these 3 summary items that I've spoken on, not just on behalf of myself, but also on behalf of my neighbor. Right here, we've got a Marine who ceded his time to me right now, this morning. So it's not right. You guys aren't consistently applying the rules. You apply them to everybody else, but not to yourselves.
Thank you, Mr. Cody.
That was our final registered speaker.
All right, thank you.
Commissioners, that brings us to add-on item 10A. This is a recommendation to rename the county's Ann Oleski Park in Immokalee to the Ann and Ski Oleski Park. And this item is brought to the agenda by Commissioner McDaniel.
Mr. McDaniel, would you like to?
You really would, but my computer blipped. So, somebody whip up that agenda item for me if you can, please, because my computer's telling, oh, here, I got it. Forgive me. And whoever's running the camera, if you can zoom in on this picture, I would really appreciate it. Our community lost a wonderful human being last week, my friend, Ski Oleski. I know I'm jumping the gun a little bit because this is an approval process. This picture, I was fortunate enough to take several years ago. Ski and I are both in Rotary, have been. Ski was there forever. He's the one that instigated me to join Rotary in Immokalee. Just as a little story, I had a lot of friends that wanted me to join Rotary, but I could never meet the militant attendance requirements that Rotary had. Back in the day, if you wanted to be in Rotary, you had to attend a Rotary meeting a week, or they boot you out if you didn't. Somewhere in the world, you had to go to a Rotary meeting, and I just could never meet those militant attendance records. And I was going to, when I was running for election, I was going to the Immokalee Rotary. It's apolitical. I wasn't campaigning. I was just shaking hands and doing my thing. And Ski was like, well, why don't you join the Immokalee Rotary? And I'm like, Ski, I just can't. I can't have that requisite of having to make a meeting every single week. He's like, oh, we don't care about that. I'm like, what? He goes, no, if you can't make it one week, just come back, pay $1 the next week, we'll mark you as been there. And so, I could do that. So I joined the Immokalee Rotary. Ski and Ann were my friends forever. And we named the park out there at the end of Lake Trafford Road, the Ann Oleski Community Park. Ski went away. He passed last week. A forever member of our community. I'm going to do everything I can to not cry. Ski served as the chair of Parks and Rec Advisory Board. He served on the Immokalee CRA from the beginning of time. He served on the Tourist Development Council. He served on our Tourist Development Council up here. He served on the board of Healthcare Network, and of course in our Immokalee Rotary. So it's my ask. There's two ways to do this. Wave your magic wand and ask to rename a facility, or go get 1,000 signatures, and I'd rather not have to go get 1,000 signatures. So,
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
On behalf of, I would like to go ahead and make a motion to that effect in terms of waiving the requirements, and then let you,
please,
if the board is in agreement to waiving that, because I knew Ski very well. I used to go out there all the time and take photographs on the lake, and he was always just so gracious and wonderful. So I'm going to make a motion to waive the formal requirements for the renaming of that park. I'm not suggesting a name, I'm just waiving the requirements.
So a motion and a second. All in favor of waiving, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, same sound. The ayes have it.
and then I'd like to make a motion to rename the park to the Ann and Ski Oleski Park.
So just adding Ski's name to
Please.
the name that's already there. So a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sound, same sign. The ayes have it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Commissioners, that brings us to item 11A. This is a recommendation that the Board of County Commissioners, as the ex officio governing board of the Collier County Water Sewer District, accept the water, wastewater, irrigation quality water, and wholesale potable water user rate and fee study, and direct the county manager or her designee to advertise a resolution amending Schedules 1, 2, 3, and 4 of Appendix A to Section 4 of the Collier County Water Sewer District Uniform Billing, Operating, and Regulatory Standards Ordinance Number 2001-73 as amended, with effective dates of October 1st, 2026, October 1st, 2027, and October 1st, 2028. Mr. Jim Deloney, your department head for public utilities, is here to begin the presentation.
Thank you, County Manager. Jim Deloney, Department Head, Public Utilities, for the record. Commissioners, we have a presentation today of the rate study for the period of consideration in FY 27 through 29. With me today, I have Mr. Ballone, our Finance Operations Officer for Public Utilities, as well as our consultants, and I'll have them introduce themselves. We are ready for that presentation, but I'll wait guidance from the chair.
Yeah, I'd like to see the presentation, please.
Yes, sir. Fine. Joe?
I was gonna make a quick motion for approval.
Oh, well,
If you wanna see the presentation, we'll see the presentation. Sir.
Okay.
Short, right? Is it less than 1,000 slides?
Yes, sir.
We saw some of these already.
860.
I mean,
861, I added one. Good morning, Commissioners. For the record, Joe Ballone, Utilities Finance Director. So the subject today, as Mr. Delaney said, is to review and discuss the Collier County Water Sewer District user fee rate study. The rates recommended today relate solely to the district. They don't apply to any other municipalities like Naples or Marco or any other utilities in the county like Ave or Immokalee Water Sewer District. Next slide, please. You have before you the agenda. The Water Sewer District generally completes a user fee rate study every 3 years, or more frequently if the business conditions warrant that. The last user fee rate study resolution was approved by the board for the fiscal years 24, 25, and 26 back in December of 2023. I'm going to talk today just a little bit about a little overview of the water sewer utility. Our 8 consultants are here today to present their findings and conclusions, and then we will conclude the presentation today with a few words from Mr. Deloney, our department head. Next slide, please. Just a few critical reminders for our customers who may be listening. Collier County Water Sewer District is a special district. It must follow the requirements set forth in the Special Act of the Florida Legislature. It's highly regulated, and our customers rely on us to deliver on-demand, reliable water and sewer services. We're to remind folks that the user fees that they pay represent a fee for the direct benefit to those users of the system. You'll hear a lot today about the importance of fiscal stability and a strong credit rating for the best and lowest rates for future borrowing needs as the utility begins to expand in the Northeast. This enables the utility to meet its strategic focus to plan and build public infrastructure to reliably and sustainably meet the needs of the community. Next slide, Tom, please. I thought rather than start with the utility by the numbers, numbers can be misinterpreted. I just want to talk a little bit about what the utility does before a customer turns the tap to run the water or after the water disappears down the drain. Because we all know it's not magic. Raw water lies deep below the surface in several aquifers. We're pumped from wells through 46 miles of raw water pipelines to the regional water treatment plants, where it undergoes a significant treatment process utilizing high-energy pumps and various chemicals to rid the raw water of dissolved minerals and gases to produce potable drinking water. And yes, potable water is pressurized, again, more large pumps and more electricity to move that water through over 1,200 miles of distribution mains to our homes. By the way, on that journey, it also feeds over 16,000 fire hydrants to protect public safety. The wastewater leaves our homes initially, using gravity to move it towards the treatment plants. But here in Collier County, due to our flat terrain, the wastewater needs a little bit more help. Nearly 1,000 lift stations pressurize it to arrive at the plant, its final destination, after having traveled through nearly 1,300 miles of pipe on that journey. At the water reclamation facility, biology and chemistry, beyond my understanding, turn our wastewater into reclaimed water for irrigation, thus saving precious water resources. Thank you, Tom. Here is the utility by the numbers, but a few important takeaways. All of these assets you see on this chart take continuous maintenance to stay in compliance with federal and state regulations. They represent $2 billion of infrastructure on our books at historical cost. That's aging. They must be renewed, rehabilitated, or replaced at current costs, which, as we all know, can be 2 to 3 times what they cost originally. So the bottom line from this chart, the utility requires funding for manpower, electricity, chemicals, parts, etc., to keep the water running and the wastewater disappearing reliably and sustainably. Next chart, Tom, please. We've listed here some of the cost drivers that the utility incurs. There are a lot more in your executive summary that we've listed today. Electric power, of course, is critical to all of the utilities' operations. And as you know, the Public Service Commission recently approved one of the largest FP&L rate increases anticipated to impact our operating expenses this fiscal year. But the utility has implemented multiple cost-saving efforts to mitigate these costs. Some of those efforts are listed here on this chart. Again, many more are in the executive summary. But 2 critical areas that we really need to focus on today. The first is our interest on our borrowings. So maintenance of the AAA bond rating to obtain favorable interest rates on future borrowings is really critical and is supported by these rate recommendations. On the other side, examples of efforts to reduce our energy consumption are one is any repair and rehabilitation projects that we do across our utility include replacing motors and pumps to more efficient variable frequency drive motors. That improves efficiencies and saves on power consumption. We've also negotiated favorable rates with FP&L for periods of heavy demand, which is called load shedding, and that saved the utility over $680,000 in electricity costs in the last fiscal year over the prior fiscal year. So these savings initiatives help keep our future rate increases lower for our customers than they otherwise might have been. Thanks, Tom. As you know, our utility employs a robust asset management program to schedule regular maintenance to avoid costly emergency repairs and service interruptions to our customers. We also use technology, which supports some of these mitigation efforts. A great example is our supervisory control and data acquisition, which uses automation for remote monitoring. And we've recently acquired acoustic pipeline inspection technology to maintain sewer gravity lines to reduce spills and increases their frequency of inspections versus our traditional CCTV inspections. As a note, we did send the rate study to ResourceX to get their opinion on our efforts. And as you know, we never walk alone when it comes to rates and recommendations of the financial professionals that at Reftelis. The financial plan was reviewed at the Finance Committee's February 5th meeting just a few weeks ago. The recommendation of Reftelis, in coordination with the county's financial advisors, PFM, to increase the commercial paper program from $200 to $3 million was unanimously endorsed by the Finance Committee, while the study was endorsed 4-1. ResourceX also finds the proposed rate adjustments and the underlying methodology in the study to be fully aligned with the principles of best practices of priority-based budgeting. That would conclude my overview of the district and its responsibilities. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Saunders.
I just have one question.
Sure.
And not about the rates, but just about operations in general. During the Hurricane Irma, of course, we all remember that all the power went out, and the lift stations and the pump stations were no longer had electricity. It created a whole lot of problems in a lot of neighborhoods. And I know we took tremendous action, you guys took tremendous action to make sure that we had backup generators. What's the status of all of that? If we had another Hurricane Irma event where basically all the power in the county is out, What happens then, and do you have a program for testing the generators and making sure that they are all operational, especially as we approach hurricane season?
For the record, Jim Deloney. Sir, we lose all the power. We can't compete with the lack of FP&L. We will culminate, no, whole county. That's typically not the situation. It's isolated areas. Should it come at us in those kinds of bites, we can put 600 generators out there, culminate after about 7 days, 6 days, trying to keep them fueled and so on, but restoration continues. So we're able to mitigate largely those large areas, but the entire county, no. Now you can't substitute over 1,000 outages of lift stations and sustain it over any period of time with the number of generators you put out, the number of people it takes to keep them going, and so on and so forth. You have backup power at the major stations, as you know, that allow you to move the large flow. You have storage within the system itself that builds up over a day or two that takes that load, and then hopefully you can move that with generated power back to the plants. But to take it all on and be a substitute for an FPL, no, we cannot do that. But as you saw in that response and previous ones, the district's been very effective in addressing the shortage of electricity throughout this time period, and we continue to improve that with our program. The mainest thing that we do that I think is that our spill mitigation in around our large system components is a big deal. So if we did overflow, we don't impact water bodies and other aspects that would give us secondary and third order effects. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, so it's on your radar.
All the time.
Because those types of events.
Yes, sir.
It's not unlikely that we'll have it. It's just a matter of when, and
it's an absolute positive. We will do it. We'll have to face it. We war game it every year. We have the right contractual vehicles in place to augment from the industry, but we're competing for those resources, as you know, with other people. So those are limited resources. To the extent that you can allow them, we will, obviously. And we spare no expense with regard to getting sure that we don't get back up into folks' homes. I can absolutely promise you that's our mission.
Yeah. All right.
And our promise.
Mr. McDaniel.
Yeah, and on that note, I mean, you'll recall when you and I first got elected and Irma came through, we had mass power outings in the east. And I ultimately learned that we hadn't been, as a land development criterion, requiring alternative power sources on the lift stations that are put in by developers.
That's correct.
And we'll confirm this later. We don't have to do it today, but I'm positive that we.
No, we're good.
Huh?
We're good.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand, but we amended our land development code to require those alternative power sources, and they are utilizing non-essential assets, which is our people, running around with power generators on those that don't have additional alternative power sources. Because even though we ran into this, we issue an evacuation notice. No one comes to your home and puts you out. You have the right to stay. And when you're there, the water still comes on, the toilet still flushes, and you expect those things, even though the power may not be on. That's the conundrum that we were in the past, and we're going through the process to address that. And that was exemplified in Ian, in our second storm, since you and I came into office, and how much better and lack of backups that we had coming into people's homes.
The bottom line, it's a tough ticket.
Ooh, absolutely.
And I'm not going to make promises I can't keep. There will be challenges. To the extent that we mitigate that with good planning, more important, great people with dedication to get it done, you got that promise. But the rest of it's a high risk adventure to just in time plan and execute that type of challenge, given the wide expanse and area of our district. We're just not compact. Large runs of pipe, as Joe briefed earlier. Sir, did we answer your question?
Yeah, it was fine.
Anything else?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And we'll be back at you if we need more support on that. I mean, we have a plan, and as we grow these neighborhoods, and particularly in the Northeast, we'll be looking at some augmentation to address that, as well as maybe again refining our utility standards with regard to things that the commissioner spoke to.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I see no more questions from my,
I just want to ask Jim something.
Mr. LaCastro.
Jim, just because you're at the podium, different subject, but I want to get it on the record, and maybe my colleagues haven't gotten the emails I've gotten from some citizens, but just we will have the same exchange right now that we probably had in my office. But you know, there's some folks blowing up my inbox, small groups. So 3 people doesn't constitute, you know, mass hysteria in the community, or the ability or the demand to pull something off the agenda, et cetera, et cetera. But I digress. But the folks that read articles in Florida newspapers about other counties and, you know, we're grossly over summarizing, just confirm for us there's a difference between when we have a lack of rainfall, that's called drought. That's different than we have a severe water shortage and we should stop all construction immediately because faucets that are going to be turned on won't flow water. So we know that rainfall is down a little bit from years past, and that's what the articles really said. But like the media typically does, the headline is always something sensational to get people to read the article, and then when you drill all the way down, it's, you know, we have a lack of rainfall, but our reserves and all the things that you do to make sure, regardless of what the rainfall is, we're a far distance away from some sort of catastrophic water shortage. Do you want to just give us, just so for anybody that's listening and to get it on the record, and then, you know, whether my colleagues have received some of these emails or not, my response to these people, and I CC'd you on everyone, is yes, there might be a lesser of a rainfall in the Panhandle, in the center of Florida, even here, but drought doesn't constitute some sort of emergency water shortage. You want to give us a short version of what you and I talked about and what you sent those citizens, which I appreciated your response, so that they didn't feel like they were getting sort of the runaround from a, you know, elected official. It was, here's our top guy on utilities. I mean, you know.
Water shortage is a multi-spectrum Rubik's Cube. With regard to the availability of water supply to provide compliant at pressure water for the water customers of the Collier County Water Service Districts, I have no issues.
Thank you.
None. We have plenty of wells. In fact, I was just reviewing this morning's drawdown report for the wells that might have influence because of a lack of rain. That would be our shallower wells there in the Tamiami zone. I was looking at our drawdown structure, and we're good. Now, we manage that every day to make sure we don't do anything that would put in jeopardy that aquifer with regard to, if you draw it down too far, it'll sand in, or you could get infiltration from salt water. Lots of bad things happen when you don't manage that. So we will mix and match wells 40 plus that we have in the shallower zone, or we'll just pump more deeper water from the Hawthorne and the lower Hawthorne, which are our reverse osmosis. More expensive to treat, more expensive to take care of, but that's the blend of our water supply scheme here in Collier County. Now, some utilities are singularly dependent on those shallower aquifers, and they have to, and at times when there's severe drought, they have to manage much closer their water supply because of those drawdowns. As that aquifer draws down, you become more suspect. And that's the reason you're seeing, for example, in the Campeche Peninsula up in Charlotte County and those areas, as well as the East Coast, concerns because some of those utilities depend on shallow aquifers solely for the water supply. Okay? If you're a resident, if you have your own well at your house, typically it's going to be very shallow. It is not necessarily in the Tamiami, it's in the superficial aquifer, which is highly influenced by rainfall. That's the concerns, of course, up in North Fort Myers that you read about. Those shallow wells, you know, there's pumping from the superficial aquifer within the first 50 feet or so, 60 feet. They're going to be influenced by the lack of rainfall and lots of demand in that area. And then you've got concerns then of sanding up that aquifer or saltwater intrusion or other things. So we're very fortunate here in Collier County because we're able to have a blend of water supply or through multiple aquifers, so we can move through these systems. But we have no concerns at this time for any of our water supply. But there is a drought situation within the state, particularly the lower part of the state, that needs to be addressed in terms of the water usage overall.
But some of those operations that you described of how they fluctuate different things, that's part of normal operations.
Yes, sir, it
right,
is.
That you count for, and then we also have reserves. So that doesn't mean we have some sort of emergent water
No, sir, we
crisis.
do. No, sir, not today.
Thank you.
No, sir, we do not. Anything else?
No, sir. Thank you.
See no more questions from the board. Do we have any public speakers on this item?
We do not, sir.
I guess he decided not to exercise his constitutional right.
So we still have the presentation with regard to the consultant. It's up to you if you want to continue the presentation.
Nah, I believe I'm going to ask for a motion. If I think I
I'll
had
make a
one
motion
earlier.
I'll make a motion to approve.
What would you? Okay,
I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. You do it. I'll second it.
All right.
I enjoyed Mr. Deloney's or Ballone's presentation, but
Thank you, Commissioner.
we've studied this ad nauseum. So I'm good.
All right. I have a motion, a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sound, same sign. The ayes have it. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Commissioners, that brings us now to item 15, Staff and Commission General Communications. First, item 15A, public comments on general topics not on the current or future agenda by individuals not already heard during previous public comments in this meeting.
We have no registered speakers.
Very good. That brings us to item 15B, staff project updates. We do have Mr. Mullins here to talk to you a little bit about the 250th of the United States and our thoughts on some festivities.
And for the record, John Mullins, your Director of Communications, Government, and Public Affairs. And as the county manager mentioned, we're coming into the semi-quincentennial of the country, and we are looking to participate, like many jurisdictions across the land, in celebrating America at 250. But we want to start out with a little bit of a preamble here. Number one, the list we're about to show you is a partial list of programming, and more items will be added throughout the summer as other things are scheduled. The goal will be to absorb the cost into existing program and event budgets where possible, and there will be a focus on reuse of items. We do a lot of red, white, and blue around here, and we have several other holidays that we can use many of these products for, so we'll make sure where possible everything that we purchase can be reused. Now, looking at this list, again, a partial list, you can see some of the prominent players, the divisions within the county agency that will be doing some programming. Parks, of course, has their summer camp program. The Paradise Coast Sports Complex and FC Naples. There happens to be an FC Naples game on July 3rd, as well as FIFA World Cup games scheduled that day. So we'll be working with the sports complex and FC Naples on trying to jazz that up even more for the 4th of July and celebrating the semi-quincentennial. Sun and Fun, we'll be looking at reduced rates for entry. $250 seems to make sense. DAS, maybe $250 adoptions. We will probably have our pets up for adoption promoted using historical names. So you can adopt Lincoln, Jefferson, Washington, and if we have a problem child, potentially Benedict Arnold. Museums, of course, they are very big into history, so they already have a slate of things programmed, including presentations at the main museum at Marco Island and here in the boardroom. Libraries, the same way, the repository of many historical documents and books. They actually have a Lincoln performer this morning at the headquarters library location that's speaking right now, and will be speaking again this evening at 6 p.m. And tomorrow at the South Regional Library and at Marco Island in the afternoon. They also have a lecture series that will have patriotic themes throughout the summer. We also have community partners. We have a military museum on campus now. We will probably look at doing something in partnership with them. I believe all the commissioners were provided an email from Lois Bolin recommending the Freedom 250 Mobile Museum. We're going to try to reach out to that organization to see if I think there are 5 or 6 of these buses, one of them can make a stop here in the Collier County region, though I will tell you, having looked at the schedule already booked, that might be a tall order, but we'll do our best. And also, we will have a groundbreaking this summer for the State Veterans Nursing Home. And what better time to celebrate the opening of this facility for our veterans than during the semi-quincentennial? So we should be pulling out all the stops for that. The Board of County Commissioners, of course, we're going to decorate your dais, I think, appropriately for this event. We'd also like to cut some video pieces with you all to use on Collier TV, at the sports complex, on the Jumbotron, and also on our social media channels commemorating America's 250th. We'll have some Revolutionary era character reenactments that will probably take place in the spring and summer at the beginning of board meetings. Probably a proclamation or two. And of course, the Artist of the Month for July will be an art exhibit following the theme of Star Spangled. Following on with the decoration ideas, we will probably do commemorative pins similar to how we did the Centennial, which were provided to your offices as kind of little tokens and keepsakes for the community. We'll be looking at vehicle emblems, magnetic ones that are temporary, to kind of adorn our vehicle fleet during this semi-quincentennial. We're looking at the potential for a wrapped cat bus, a special 250 bus. We're looking at adorning Building F with a very large flag, which has been done in the past, and that will be supplemented by other campus decorations. Now, there's one thing at the bottom there, photograph of the board in powdered wigs. We considered that, and we weren't exactly sure how that was going to work out. We didn't know if you would really sit for a portrait like that, so I decided to go ahead and check and see if that was something that you should do.
Bert's already in a powdered wig.
And I would wholeheartedly recommend that you do not sit for a photograph in powdered wigs, with the exception of potentially Commissioner McDaniel, who looks quite natural.
Yeah, the curls don't do me justice. The gun, on the other hand, that's a nice.
My hairdo looks like I'm going to the guillotine.
I'd like I want a raccoon cap.
Gotcha. And of course, like I said, the dais will probably be decorated with buntings and the emblem, and that emblem was created by our graphic designer, Santiago Arenas, who also did the county logo refresh a couple years back and did the Centennial emblem as well. And we will make these available on SharePoint pretty soon for everybody to access and use as needed. And with that, I am open to any questions or additional suggestions from the board.
My only suggestion is at every opportunity we light this place up with red, white, and blue. Every storage tank. I mean, I drove by the wastewater water facility, the new one out in on the backside of Big Corkscrew Regional, and there's great big tanks that are just there. And so my thought would be, obviously managing expenses, but light them up.
Noted.
I saw the chiller tank was red, white, and blue the other.
Yes.
Nearly every day, I believe, right now.
Commissioner Castro.
Yeah, I would just add, John, whatever you decide to do to sort of make things look patriotic, don't miss the opportunity to explain to taxpayers we're not just frivolously spending money like you just said in here. We already have some things in the warehouse that from 4th of July or Memorial Day or what have you, Veterans Day. And then if there's anything additional, lighting up a water tower with a couple of red, white, and blue spotlights isn't $1 billion. And so, but, keep us from getting deluged with people who said, oh, you spent $1 billion to put up 3 Charlie Kirk signs. You spent $1 billion on beach restoration and all that. And, anything you can do to separate rumor from fact and say, we're trying to be part of an incredible celebration and do it. We have a lot of unpaid bills in the county, so we're not, dipping into our coffers to, not restore beaches so we can buy banners. But, we're trying to do a little bit of both to be, part of an important, one-of-a-kind celebration. Sometimes it takes a little bit of that extra sentence in your announcement to, make sure that, the same way we're doing a deep dive into the budget to see where we have savings, we're not frivolously spending money. And I know you aren't, but sometimes people don't have a crystal ball to know that, and they immediately attack us as being a bunch of, spend quickly, commissioners kind of thing. But I know you're going to come up with some great ideas.
Absolutely.
Except for the wigs.
All right. I see no other comments. Well, thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Look forward to it.
Commissioners, that brings us to item 15C, Staff and Commission General Communications. I have nothing today. County Attorney?
I just have 2 comments for the record today. The board was moving fast on the public comment items, and the board followed its policy and the practice that you have previously followed and implemented. With respect to the summary agenda items, I just wanted to note for the record that those items were previously unanimously approved at the Planning Commission, and no member of the public came forward to speak on those items. So today you had one speaker who had concerns regarding those summary agenda items. You let him speak his 3 minutes. You could have pulled the item, heard it, and have 3 minutes, and it would have been the same result. So I just wanted to put on the record that you followed your process and your procedures, and there was nothing irregular about what happened here today.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Saunders.
Mr. Chairman, I don't have anything to add. I will say that this was a pretty quick meeting. Your record now is an average, we had 1 9-hour meeting, your first one. Now you're down to an average of
We're not done yet.
hours. So congratulations. No, I have nothing to add. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Hall.
I have nothing to add, thanks.
Mr. Castro.
For those of you that may not have heard, the Marco Island Historical Society, obviously on Marco Island, which is run by their CEO, Pat Rutledge, was just recently selected by USA Today as the #3 small town museum in the United States. So that was a pretty big deal. For those of you that know, they have a lot of unique things there. They have an artifact that was found a long time ago in an archaeological dig on Marco. They call it the Marco cat. It's called all kinds of other things. It's on display there now. It's been sent to the Smithsonian Museum before for permanent display, but it's back on Marco. It's about to go back. They have a lot of very unique things there, and Pat does a great job rotating all of the exhibits. So it's not a museum that you visit once and then you've seen it. And she's very proud of the partnership that she has with the county. I mean, she works really hard to keep the museum self-sustaining on her own. We supplement a little bit, but she never asks for much. But I think that's a pretty big accomplishment, #3 in the entire country. So that's a nice little shout out to her and her team. And we have county people, county staff that are part of her team as well. So it's a real team effort. And I know they were very proud of the award. So I thought I would just mention that. Congratulations to all of them.
Mr. McDaniel.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I have 2 things. Number one, on that item with regard to the public speakers and so on, maybe there was a time in our agenda where it was in print that under public comment, it specified not on today's agenda or future agendas. It doesn't say that anymore on the agenda that I'm looking at. So maybe we ought to come out and say that. I mean, I agree with the county attorney that we followed our normal processes and procedures today. So I would maybe, and if it is somewhere, then great. I would also ask that either the county manager or the county attorney, when someone does come and unintentionally speaks on an item that's not on that's on this agenda or on a future one, that you kindly interrupt and not cause, I felt, that didn't need to go on for nearly as long as it did. So please step in if there is a process issue, just to, because we're all up here doing a lot of different things. And so feel free, county attorney and or county man, either one of you, to speak up and to share with the folks and the board that this isn't the time nor place for that. Number 2, I've been asked to bring up under commissioner comments, the developer at the town of Big Cypress has asked for a utilization of their municipal bonds for the subsurface infrastructure that they're utilizing as collateral for the for that development. Typically, a developer would have to go buy a surety bond to insure over and above. I'm not asking for any approval of this today. What I would like to do is bring forward with your positive head nod, an agenda item so that we can explore the security instruments that are going to be utilized, being proposed, but it's a fairly substantive savings for the developer to not have to go buy that surety bond. So with your approval, I'll bring forward an agenda item next month, and we'll have a chat about it so that you can see all of the data. I've looked at it a lot, so, and I feel comfortable with it, but I just wanted to give direction today to be able to bring that agenda item forward. And other than that, I have nothing else.
Mr. Teach, real quick, anything in paragraph 3 doesn't address that. This is general public comments on non-agenda topic registered to speak before his 3 minutes and cannot yield minutes to.
Where?
Paragraph 3 on the cover of the agenda.
It does say that.
Okay.
And Commissioner, when the speaker first said 11A, then they started going in a different direction, and I thought they were going to speak on something else and not 11A. That's why I didn't interrupt, because they mentioned 11A, but then they started speaking about other projects, and just out of the abundance of allowing the public comment to continue, that's why I didn't interrupt. But you were appropriate to act in that manner.
Thank you. Well, I have nothing further, so we'll see you guys next meeting. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
March.